Hey guys, it's Kevin Kleinman with Watchhimtrade.com. I've got a Bulls vs. Bears outlook for you here today on November 6th, 2014. However, I'm not showing my face today because I don't have a jersey on. I am neither bullish nor bearish. I am completely neutral up here, and I wanted to point some things out that I've got my eye on with this market at new all-time highs. So a couple weeks ago we were bouncing off of 1900 and I came at you with a Bulls jersey. I said now that we're above 1900, we're looking for 1950 and above, and we got way above that here. Now we're back above 2000 and above. So overall, longer term, I think you're still bullish on everything. But right here, right now, from a day trading perspective, the reason I'm neutral is because the market just seems to be a little tired up here. You're not getting an explosive move. If you look at futures, pretty much on the week, they are flat since the week started. They came in on the 3rd around 2015, then they pulled back. You back tested 2000. Let me show that here for you guys. So you're looking at a 15-minute chart of futures right here, and you can see this was last Friday, the big move up, and you have essentially just been consolidating that move all week long between about 2000 and 2025. Granted, you're starting to poke up above 2025, two new all-time highs in the S&P. So you say, well, why aren't you bullish? Well, the reason is because if you look at it versus last week's high, there's just not a ton of extension here. Your high last week on the futures was 2015, 2016. Your high at the beginning of this week was 2018, and now your high today is 2026. So you're only 8 to 10 points higher, which over a 4-day move just isn't very good from a momentum perspective. But you can't be bearish, or at least I don't think you can, because you're at all-time highs. You held 2000, all right, and you couldn't sustain any momentum to the downside when you had a chance. Had you broken 2000, we could have started pulling back, but that didn't happen. So what am I watching for here to help me determine, should I be looking at further continuation towards 2050, or should I be looking for a backtest and possible break below 2000? Well, there's a couple names that I would point to. First, I want to look at Google. Google to me is a leader of sorts. The stock rallied nicely off of an October 17th earnings low at 518 back to 560s, but now it's testing the 550. So I'm just watching, can Google hold above 550 or not? If you stay above 550 on Google, I think this is a good buy the dip on Google, and I think it's a good sign for the market. If you lose 550, I think Google can sell back off down to that 520 area, and I think you see the market come under pressure. Another name I'd reference is Apple. Apple has been a big-time leader here. Apple with a really nice move over the last couple of weeks came up to a new all-time high around 110, but has kind of just been consolidating recently underneath 110. I think you need to see Apple get above 110 to trigger further momentum in the market. Otherwise, if you continue to stay below 110, I would expect the market to chop around, go sideways, or if you start breaking down from this little 3-day consolidation below 107s, go towards 105, that I would anticipate is in line with a Google 550 breakdown, which would also take the market back down towards 2000. Another name I'd be watching is Microsoft. Microsoft breaking out today looks pretty good here, but the market isn't really getting behind this move. We're not seeing a broad move in tech. I showed you Google, I showed you Apple. So, let's see if Microsoft can kind of lead the way up here and continue this rally higher, which if it can, looks like then Google holds 550. It looks like then Apple turns back up, challenges 110. A couple other names I'm watching individually that I don't think have a huge impact on the market necessarily, but I'm just watching them from a trading perspective. You look at Netflix. Netflix made a nice move off of its earnings low, just kind of consolidating around 380. Watch this over under 380 action. If you can stay over 380, I think Netflix is setting up for 400s. Otherwise, she could be setting up to backtest 350. You look at Amazon. Amazon is one of the weakest stocks I've been watching over the last few weeks, few months, and really on the year in general. It came below 300, and if you are staying below 300, Amazon looks good for a continued downside. Amazon's got to get back above 300 to start bouncing. You look at GoPro, big gap up last week on earnings, but it's been kind of consolidating around that gap. So watch that earnings day range between 76 and 81. GoPro needs to break out of that range, either above 81 to start going up towards 90s again, or below 76 to start going back down towards 60s again. So some individual names there for you, some setups. Hopefully you can do something with that. But bottom line, on the market in general, I am neutral right here. I don't really know what to expect, so I'm just kind of taking a wait and see approach before really saying which way we should be leaning here when it comes to the S&P 500. Watch 2000 for key support. You got to get back below 2000 to really trigger some downside. Otherwise, neutral. But if we break back up, then watch Apple for a 110 breakout, watch Google for a 550 hold, watch Microsoft for further continuation. If all those three things are happening, I would expect this market to be pushing up near 2050.